Hello everyone. In today's session, we will dive into the world of containerization with Amazon ECS, Elastic Container Service, unraveling the fundamentals for beginners. Explore the simplicity of managing container and orchestration application in the cloud with this beginner's guide to our AWS ECS service. So these are the table of contents which we are going to learn today. So let's start. So what is AWS? So AWS is Amazon Web Service is a cloud computing platform that provides a variety of services and resources over the internet. Think of its collection of tools and utilities that will allow to rent computing power, storage, databases, and more without needing to own and maintain physical hard drive. For example, imagine you have a website and as the number of visitors increases, you need more computing power as well as the storage. Instead of buying the new servers, you can use AWS. You might rent a virtual server and instance from AWS. Store your website data in the cloud storage like Amazon S3 means simple storage, and even you can use database service like Amazon RDS. So AWS take care of hardware as well as infrastructure, and you only need to pay for what you use. So AWS provides on-demand computing resources, allowing business and individuals to scale, innovate, and grow without the need for significant upfront investment in physical hardware. So before understanding about Elastic Container Service, let's understand about containerization, what is Docker, and what are containers. So what is Docker? So Docker is an open platform for developing, shipping, and running applications. Docker enables you to separate your application from infrastructure so you can deliver software quickly. With Docker, you can manage your infrastructure in the same way you manage your application. By taking the advantage of Docker methodologies for shipping, testing, and deploying code, you can significantly reduce the delay between writing code and running it in production. Now let's understand the concept of container. So container act as a virtual ecosystem for software, encapsulating all essential elements for seamless operation code, libraries, and configuration. Serving as fundamental units in application development, containers offer self-contained environments where software components harmoniously coexist. So imagine each container has a self-sustaining universe, shielded from external influences, providing a conductive habitat for your applications to thrive. So in the realm of software development, container emerge an indispensable entity streamlining the deployment and execution of diverse applications. So now let's understand the old way versus the container. So before containers, deploying software was like building a house from scratch every time you wanted to move. It was slow, error prone, and required lots of effort. So with the help of container, it's more like moving into a fully furnished room. You can pick it up and place anywhere. It's just work the same. So how the container works? So imagine container as lunch boxes within layer. So first is base layer, which consists of operating system. So this is the plate at the bottom. It's the foundation that everything sits on. Second is the application layer. So our application and its buddies like libraries hang out here. This is where the action happens. Third is the extra layer. Just like adding toppings on a pizza, you can add extra stuff like configuration file or data. So by breaking things into layer, containers are easier to manage. So why container matter the most? So container are the superheroes in the software world for a few reasons. As they keep things consistent, they are safe and sound, they are portable, they don't hog resources, and they grow and change. So now let us understand about AWS ECS service. So AWS ECS, Elastic Container Service, is a fully managed container orchestration service that allows you to run, stop, and manage Docker containers on a cluster. So it takes every underlying infrastructure, including provisioning and scaling of resources, allowing you to focus on application. So ECS is designed to work seamlessly with other AWS services, providing a comprehensive container management tool. So now let's understand about the features of the ECS. So it is a powerful container orchestration service provided by AWS. So here are several reasons why you might choose Amazon ECS service. So features of ECS is container orchestration, which simplifies the container orchestration by managing the placement of containers across a cluster of EC2 instances or using the serverless AWS Fargate launch type. Deep integration with the AWS. So ECS integrates seamlessly with other AWS services such as Amazon Elastic Load Balancing, Amazon VPC, Amazon Identity and Access Management, and AWS Cloud, and more. Flexibility and launch type. ECS offers two launch types, ECS on EC2 and AWS Fargate. So ECS on EC2 allows you to manage your EC2 instance to run containers, providing maximum control and flexibility. On the other hand, AWS Fargate on abstracts the underlying infrastructure, making it serverless optional idea for simplified deployment. ECS offers scalability. You can automatically scale your containerized application based on the defined criteria. Service discovery. So ECS provides service discovery mechanism, making it easier for containers to discover and communicate with each other using DNS or dynamic port mapping. Load balancing. ECS integrates with elastic load balancing to distribute incoming traffic across containers. So ELB automatically detects healthy containers and direct traffic to them. Security. ECS ensures secure container deployments with features like IAM roles for tasks, which is identity access management, task execution tool, network isolation through AWS VPC, cost optimization. So you pay only for the computing resources and capacity you use with ECS. So now let's understand about the architecture of ECS. So here you can see VPC where the resources are be isolated. So now we will understand about the components of the ECS service use. So first is ECS cluster. So it is a logical group of EC2 instances, AWS Fargate containers, and other resources where containers applications are deployed. Next is the container instances. So EC2 instance or AWS Fargate containers within a cluster that host containers and are registered with ECS. Task definition. So blueprint specifying parameters for containers, including Docker image, CPU, memory, and network settings. Task. So initialization of task definition representing the execution of containers on a container instance within the ECS cluster. Services. So managing continuous running and scaling tasks, ensuring desired task count and handling lifecycle management. Next is scheduler. So ECS component responsible for placing tasks on EC2 instances or AWS Fargate container considering resource requirements and availability. Amazon ECS agent. So it runs on EC2 instances, facilitating communication with ECS, receiving tasks, and managing container lives. Elastic load balance. So it distributes the incoming traffic across multiple containers within an ECS service for high availability and efficiency. Amazon Cloud One. So it will integrate for monitoring, logging, and tracking metrics to provide insights into ECS task and container performance. Amazon ECR. Its full form is Elastic Container Registry. So it is fully managed by Docker Container Registry integrated with ECS for secure storage, management, and deployment of container image. Container image. So a lightweight standalone executable package that includes everything needed to run piece of software. Elastic Network Interface. So virtual network interface that allow containers to communicate with the network and other resources in the ECS cluster. So VPC. Next is VPC. So logically isolated section of the AWS cloud where ECS cluster and other AWS resources operate, providing control over the network environment. So what is AWS Spark? So a serverless compute engine for container that abstract away infrastructure management, allowing for simplified deployment and operation for containers. And the last is EC2 instance. So virtual servers in the cloud forming the foundation of ECS cluster. So they host containers when using EC2 launch. So how the Elastic Container Service work? So first is the container. So a container is a package that holds an application and everything, consisting of dependencies, libraries, etc. So the application requires to run. So containers are independent of underlying operating system and hence container applications are fairly portable, flexible and scalable. So this will ensure that application will run always as expected irrespective of the system and environment in which a container is run. Next is Docker. So Docker is a software that facilitates and automates the installation and deployment of application inside the Linux container. So a cluster is a group of EC2 instances running as a single application. And the container EC instance is each EC2 in an ECS cluster is called as container instance. Now we will study about the use cases. So AWS ECS service is a versatile and scalable container orchestration platform. We have seen that. So it can be used for various industries such as for digital transformation with microservices. So for example, for Netflix. So Netflix is a streaming service. So utilizes ECS to manage its vast microservice architecture. ECS allows Netflix to efficiently deploy and scale microservices, ensuring a seamless, streamlined experience for millions of users. And the second example is for e-commerce scalability. So case study is Amazon. As Amazon is the world's largest e-commerce platform, it relies on ECS to handle its dynamic workload during peak shopping season like Prime Day and Black Friday. So ECS enables Amazon to scale resources as needed to meet high customer demand. So now we will do a practical and create an ECS instance in AWS. And we will create an Nginx instance after creating a container. We will do that with the help of the ECR where we can find the image of the Nginx. So let's see. So first visit your AWS console and just type here ECS. So here you can see ECS means Elastic Container Service. Click on that. So this is the default page. So this is the default page and first step is to create the cluster. So just click on create cluster, give the name cluster as demo cluster. Then select infrastructure as AWS Fargate. Then keep monitoring and tag setting as default. Then click on create. So here you can see cluster demo cluster named as demo cluster is in creation. So just refresh this. So here you can see our cluster has been created successfully. Now after defining the cluster name, now we have to create a task definition. So click on task definition on the left hand side and create a task definition. So as we are going to define the task name, so as we are going to create an Nginx instance in the container, so we will define the task as Nginx definition. Next, infrastructure requirement. So here select as AWS Fargate, and you can change the memory according to your requirement. But currently, I will put as default all the settings. Next, in the container here you can see, now we will create a container. So just type here name of the container. So as we are creating Nginx instance, so just type as Nginx. Now we will get the image from the ECR, which means Elastic Container Repository. So just type here ECR in the search bar. So here you can see ECR. So here you can see the repository, and below that you need to visit to ECR public gallery. So click on that, and here you can see we have the default page. We are in the default page of AWS ECR public gallery. So click on the option as all image, which is set by default, and just type here Nginx and press enter. So here you can see Nginx. Just click on that and copy the image. So here you can see it is copied successfully. Now we will paste it in the container. So again visit ECS and create a new task definition. The task definition family name will be Nginx definition. Select AWS Fargate. Select memory according to you. Name we will give as Nginx instance. Now we will paste a repository image. Now here you need to set up the firewall setting. So here you can see the container port as Nginx run on 80. Select, just type here Nginx port 80 and keep other setting as default. So here you can see AWS CloudWatch. Here you can see the value, the region which you are going to launch the container, etc. Now keep the storage, monitoring and tags option as default and then create. So here you can see our task definition has been successfully created. So in our cluster, you can see now we need to create a service. So just click on create. Here you can see it will automatically select the cluster. Here you can select, here you have to select the task definition family, which is Nginx. And here we have to give the service name, which is Nginx service. And in networking, here, if you want to create a new security group, then just type Nginx SG, which means security group of Nginx, and just give a description so we can understand that this security group is of Nginx instance. So select custom TCP port range 80 anywhere. Select here HTTP anywhere and click on the create option. So it will take some few minutes to create a service. Now we will click on cluster. We will reload this page. Click on the demo cluster. Click on the service. So here you can see the service has been created successfully. So if you click on task, here it will throw a public IP. Just copy this public IP and paste in the URL. So here you can see our Nginx instance in this container has been successfully created. So hereby, and if you want to delete a Elastic Container Service, click on cluster. First click on cluster, then select this service, delete the service first, type here delete, then we will select the task and stop the selected task. Now you can check the namespace here I have created. So we have to remove this in the CloudWatch, Cloud Map, so AWS Cloud Map, and just select this and delete this. Then again go to ECS service, and now we have to delete the cluster. So click on cluster, and here in the right hand side corner you can see the delete option. Just type delete demo cluster. So click on delete. It will take few minutes to delete, and here you can see it has been successfully deleted the cluster. So close, and if you reload it in cluster, you can see no cluster is to delete. So we will conclude it for today. So in conclusion, it was a beginner's guide to understand about the containerization with the AWS ECS, showcasing its efficiency in simplifying deployment complexities with scalability, flexibility, and seamless AWS integration. So ECS emerges as a powerful tool for developers venturing into containerized applications. So as beginners embark on this journey, AWS ECS stands as a reliable companion in a new era of streamlined and efficient cloud computing. So for reference, you can visit the official website of the Elastic Container Service of AWS. And if you have any queries, please contact us in DevOps. So you can also visit the related articles. So thank you for watching this video, and please do like, share, and subscribe the channel.